Hello, hello. We're back. It's Tuesday, May 14th. Welcome to CC TitleTown, episode 10.
The big 1-0.
Kind of like a little milestone for us.
It is, yeah.
It's been another couple weeks. Life's getting crazy out there. A lot of things going on, but we have a lot to talk about. Cam, how you doing today?
I'm good. There's been a ton go on these past couple weeks, especially with the NBA.
Oh, my God, I know. Especially today, too.
Man, yeah. This draft lottery, oh, my gosh.
Got me stressed out. Then it got me angry.
I can't believe it, man. The Bulls got 7.
7. Even besides that, besides the Bulls, getting 7th, we'll get to the rest of the draft there in a little bit. But we wanted to start kind of where we left off with NBA playoffs and the Western Eastern Conference semifinals, which we know already happened, obviously, with Kawhi hitting a dagger to send Philly home.
Not only was that a dagger, that's the first buzzer-beating Game 7 shot of an all-time. Jordan's shot was Game 5 over Elo.
Yep.
That was back when they played the 5-game series.
Exactly.
But yeah, first time ever Game 7 buzzer beater. Pretty cool.
What a freaking –
dude.
That was an awesome series, though.
Yeah. Great series. Back and forth.
I don't normally feel bad for teams after a loss, but I kind of felt bad for the Sixers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd rather go out like that or go out losing by, double digits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a tough way to go out.
Right. They laid everything out on the floor in that game.
On the road, you played good defense. Kawhi missed 24 shots.
Yeah, I know.
He was not efficient.
Right.
But he's
the one game.
Right.
He was totally efficient.
Oh, yeah. The rest of the series, he was insane. But, yeah, that was a hell of a shot by Kawhi. I mean,
that was awesome.
The hanging on the rim like that, I know you thought this.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was like, this is Tiger in the Masters.
Right.
This is Tiger in the Masters.
Like the amount of suspense there was in that 1 second that it was bouncing around. It felt like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just waiting for it either to go in or fall out.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. The same thing could have happened. Joel could have been on the other end with the ball and made a shot similar like that, and I'd feel like the same.
Right.
What a crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, shout out to Kawhi because he's got a lot of haters, bro. For sitting out a whole year, coming back. I like DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan was not going to lead this team past the 76ers, that's for sure.
He's not on Kawhi's level. He's not. He is, Max Kellerman came out with a great scale. I don't know if you saw earlier. He kind of rated players 1 through 5.
Uh-huh.
Kawhi's obviously a 5, an MVP caliber player, and DeMar DeRozan's, I'd give him 3.5, 4.
Yeah, he's a mix in there.
Pretty much he's like an all-star caliber player, but he's not going to be able to lead a team.
Yeah.
Like Kawhi did.
He's not up there in MVP.
Yeah.
Offensively or defensively, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was awesome. That was an awesome game. And then we had obviously the other series in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee kind of handled Boston relatively easily.
After that first game, they just
showed
showed him who was the beast of the East, basically.
Yeah, they kind of calmed what storm there was in the first game, obviously, taking a ass whooping, and then they were like, okay, we're not messing around.
Here we go.
Right.
Yeah. Giannis showed out in that series.
He's I would take him number 1 if I was starting a franchise and I would take him over Kevin Durant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I could see why.
Right.
I could see why you would.
I don't think there's an undeniable.
You can make a case for
unanimous number 1 pick, but I think I would definitely take him. He's just he's insane.
His age too. I mean, he's a little bit younger.
Right.
And he's like you said, he's a freak.
Right.
On both ends of the court, he's great.
Right. And think about not to get too far off the topic, but he has so much. His level's still getting higher and higher.
Right. He's only scratching the surface.
Look who he's playing with too.
Right.
Not saying that's why Kevin Durant is how good he is, because we've seen him play with less and still be as good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm anxious to see if Kevin Durant does leave, how he will lead a team, because he doesn't have to be the leader on the Golden State.
Right.
Nor do I think he is. Even though I think he's the best player, doesn't mean he's the leader.
Right. He's yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. He even in OKC, like, you knew it was his team, but right. because Russ was there, he's got such a strong personality, a powerful, personality. It's like hard to look at KD as the guy all the time.
It almost felt like it was Russ's team still.
Yeah.
I feel like even though obviously Kevin Durant was better, it still felt like Russ's team, the way he commanded everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. KD's a lot more laid back.
Right. So that'll be a fun series in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Game 1's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I want to say.
Yeah. Because we got, Portland and Golden State going on right now, live as we're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But and then switching to the West, we had another Game 7 with Denver and Portland.
Yeah.
That series also was really freaking good.
Like, really good.
That was an awesome series, and I am glad Portland won. I like Portland a lot.
Me too.
I think, Lillard and McCollum are some dogs, and they're definitely underrated, and they always get overlooked. And I hope they give Golden State, some tough games. Like, I don't think they're going to be any pushover.
They're not going to lay down just because of the makeup of their team. They're all, like you said, they're dogs. They're tough. They're scrappy. McCollum had a great game.
Oh, he saved
Game
them
7.
In Game 7.
Dame, he had an off game.
Right.
But the thing about Dame, and I'll compare him to James Harden.
Right.
James Harden had all the stats in that Game 6.
Right.
Against the Warriors. Dame didn't have any, of the stats in Game 7.
Right.
Winner go home game. But he still made a couple plays and a couple shots at the end of that game.
Kind of when it mattered.
When it mattered to keep them in it, and that's huge. That's your MVP right there.
Right.
The team, team MVP essentially.
Exactly.
McCollum had a great game. Don't get me wrong.
Right. He picked up. You don't say he picked up the slack, but he stepped up big time.
Right.
When
when Dame
the
was
leader
struggling.
of the team needed him to.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's. Go ahead, yeah.
And that's the way that Portland can beat you, is a lot of different guys on their team are, if someone's a little bit off, next guy up essentially.
Exactly.
They really have embodied that mentality, and they've gotten to the Western Conference Finals because of it.
Right. And they may not be those big household names like you see on these other teams.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they can't go out there and ball and, make the shots. And like you said, McCollum put up, I think it was like 36.
37, yeah.
37.
Yeah, he balled.
Yeah.
Man. He's looked really good in these playoffs.
Exactly. So that was fun, too. That was another fun series. Yeah. I also felt bad for Denver for some reason because these teams, like, they're just laying – like, you don't always see a good series go to a Game 7, both teams laying it all out there.
Yeah.
We're not used to seeing those type of series. We're, like the Celtics, they just got ran over. You could tell they were out of it after Game 2 and 3. Like,
they quit Game 5. It was obvious Game 5. Right. They quit. They were they didn't show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously to the last series, which we'll elaborate on more, Rockets versus the Warriors ended in 4-2. Although all the games were relatively close, I think all were single digits.
Pretty sure, yeah,
they were all single digits. But yeah, that was almost seemed like a disappointing series just because it was 4-2 and Durant was out Game 6.
Yep.
And the Rockets couldn't pull through to take it to a Game 7, which I think would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome, but I'm not surprised that they didn't.
Why is that?
They don't have. Look, Chris Paul. No disrespect to Chris Paul at all. He didn't show up until Game 6.
I am so glad you brought his name up first, Cam. I am honestly so glad.
I'm getting to who.
I'll let you finish.
I'm getting to the rest of them. But Chris Paul did not show up in the way that this team needed him to. The way that as much money as they're paying him.
They're paying him a lot because he's an MVP.
Him. Well, yeah, but he ain't showed it for essentially this whole year.
Oh, that's not true.
Chris Paul?
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I thought you were talking about James Harden.
No. Sorry.
No. Okay, yeah.
No, Chris Paul.
Totally agree. Yeah,
They're paying him
we're
a
on
hell
the
of a
same
lot
page.
too much money
Way too
for
much
that
money.
performance. I mean, look, he came out, showed out in Game 6. You know, he was doing a lot of the ball handling, you know, towards the end of that game because Mr. You know, I don't want to call him a choke artist. I did, you know, in our last episode.
Which isn't quite fair, I don't think.
Hey, you know, you only get labeled a choke artist if you're an MVP and you don't show up in the playoffs.
What do you consider not showing up in the playoffs? Because, real quick, averaging 31.5 points, 7 rebounds, and almost 7 assists. I'm not taking that as a choke artist, bro. He balls out.
When the pressure is on. When the pressure is on.
There's no.
In crunch time, in critical moments of games. He did not show. He showed up maybe the one game they won at home.
Which is what?
Game
4?
4, yes. Game 4 when they evened the series.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Look, man. Look. You know,
31, 7, and 7
you know
is
that,
what it is.
You know that. Well, okay. So you want to say that about LeBron this year? He had a great year.
What about him?
27, 8, and 8.
Yeah, that's a great season.
But people are looking at him like he's had the rest of his numbers are the worst or second worst of his career. His PER is bad. His offensive and defensive efficiency is bad.
Right, but we're singling out one person.
Okay, I'm just what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to tell you is those stats don't always tell the full story.
Right.
So James Harden in Game 6, the last 6 minutes was absent. He was missing. He was not there.
That was the game where he only had like one field goal.
No, this is the last game, Chris.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking. Okay,
you're thinking of a different. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what game I'm talking about though. But anyway.
So anyway, Game 6, he was not there in the end when his team needed him. He wasn't bringing the ball up the court. Eric Gordon and Chris Paul were. Okay, excuse me if I'm wrong, but in the fourth quarter in the regular season, you know, in crunch time, who's bringing the ball up the court? James Harden.
We both know regular season and playoff basketball is different.
Okay.
1, 2. Let's not act the Warriors' defense wasn't playing a part in how the Rockets were running their offense.
Okay, but it wasn't stopping James Harden in the beginning of the game, in the first 3 quarters of the game, was it?
No.
Okay. So where was James Harden in the last part of the fourth quarter?
And that could all be a mentality thing.
A mentality thing that James Harden does not have. He
Right.
does not have that.
Doesn't
killer.
mean he's a choke artist.
I mean, but he's proved it 4 or 5 years now in the playoffs that he doesn't show up.
Bro,
that
I'm not saying I'm not agreeing. I cannot agree with him not showing up. He's averaging 31 points, 7 and 7.
Look,
He is showing up, and he's showing out.
he's showing up in the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, where's James Harden?
We're also agreeing that the Warriors are the best team in the league.
Okay.
Right?
Without Kevin Durant on your home floor.
Are you taking the Warriors to win that series without Kevin Durant regardless? We've seen that they've done it with lesser talent.
Trust me. I got you, Chris, but that is your moment. If you're James Harden, that is your moment to seize. You're the reigning league MVP. You mean to tell me that on your home floor, Game 6, if you lose, you're going home? You mean to tell me that you're just going to shy away from the ball in the fourth quarter? No. You got to go after them. You don't let Chris Paul or Eric Gordon bring the ball up the court and create. What have you been doing all season? You've been the one creating.
Balling.
Yeah. And look, I'll give it to James. If James Harden ends up winning MVP this year, I won't be mad. I think Giannis should win it.
I agree. I think Giannis should win it.
But there ain't nothing wrong if James Harden wins, league MVP again this year based on what he did in the regular season.
Right. Absolutely.
But James Harden, I need you to bring that same energy to the fourth quarter of the playoffs, my man. Where you at?
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Now he hit a big 3. He hit a big 3. Not even a big 3. I'm sorry. He hit a 3 when the Warriors were up by 8 with like 24 seconds left. Oh, people are like, "Oh, James Harden." There's no pressure at that point. Max Kellerman made this great point. I'm like, "Thank you, Max." There was no pressure when the Warriors are up by 8 and you hit a 3 with 24 seconds left. Of course you got to jack up a shot. There ain't no pressure then. But when you're down 3 or when it's tied, where is James Harden? He does not have that killer mentality. This is the same stuff that we've criticized LeBron in the past for, right? Is it not?
Right. No, it is.
And I believe James Harden should be warranted to some of the same criticism because he's a league MVP. He's expected to be the best player on the court, for his team.
I absolutely agree.
In crunch time.
We know he's not the best player on the court.
For his team.
For his team, he's by far the best player on the court.
In crunch time, where was he at?
Bro, 35, 8, and 5.
I need you to bring that same energy the last 4 minutes of the fourth.
That's part of basketball.
I need you to bring it.
We don't hold Kevin Durant to those standards when he doesn't.
What do you mean?
Bro, obviously Kevin Durant was out game 6.
Okay.
I agree with you to an extent to where you're saying he's not playing to his full potential at the end of games.
That's all you need to know.
I'm okay with admitting that. But to call him a choke artist, bro, he's averaging 30 points a game, 7 and 7.
I'll back off the choke artist, but I'm saying he ain't clutch.
No, definitely not. I'm okay with saying that. He's definitely not clutch, but he's not. He's not a choke artist. Anybody who averaging 30, 7 and 7 in the playoffs against the best defense,
yeah,
that's MVP.
Yeah,
I might take Curry over him, probably not, but definitely taking Kevin Durant over him.
You saw what Curry did in that second half,
right? And the performance that Curry put on in the second half, amazing. From what he did in the first half, which was awful, looked terrible.
He looked out of sorts, man. He looked like he just
and
wasn't.
And the thing is, you can't. I can't. Nobody can. Make excuses for the Rockets and James Harden. But like you mentioned, Chris Paul. I can't wrap my head around why the Rockets paid him so much to do what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Shout out to a couple buddies of ours back from high school, Carl Columbus and Dre Winborn. They are huge fans of Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. I'm to the point to say where I'm over him. He's never lived up to the hype, I think.
He really hasn't. And
if you want to look at his stats and say, look, his career, he almost averages a double-double with points and assists. Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm cool with that. That's he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's going to be.
He's not the leader I feel like everybody looks at him to be.
I totally agree.
Even though Harden is obviously the best player on that team, mm-hmm. and we just talked about this, just because you're the best player on the team doesn't mean you have to be the leader. We just said that with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul is the floor general of this century. Mm-hmm. But that's way overrating him to me.
Yeah.
He is not what he used to be, and what he even used to be isn't even all that to me.
When you look back at it.
What has he done?
Essentially his playoff performance. Yeah.
What has he done? This year in the playoffs he averaged 17, 5.5 assists, and 6.5 rebounds. Sure, you look at that and you're like, that's not bad at all. That's totally mm-hmm. Decent numbers. But for what they're paying him and for what people look at him to be, way overrated.
Yeah.
As a player.
Yeah.
He had freaking Blake Griffin in his prime and DeAndre Jordan in his prime, and they never did anything.
Right.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's way overrated, and he should be playing a hell of a lot better for what they're paying him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's why they lost, because that's not. But, Harden is doing enough. Look at... Mm-hmm. Compare rosters, really look and compare rosters, and it's almost shocked. Like you said, you're not shocked that the Warriors beat them 4-2. I'm not really shocked either. Just looking at the roster.
Yeah.
Comparing rosters.
I gotcha. Yeah.
You have some tough ass players on the Rockets mm-hmm. with PJ Tucker, Capella, and Chris Paul is no slouch on defense. He can play some D. He's not afraid of anything, but compare that to the Warriors team. Like,
Well,
there's
yeah.
no comparison in the NBA.
Yeah.
But, like, for the Rockets to go up there, battle, and lose by single digits in all their losses, like, yeah, that shows they did have a hell of a time trying to finish games.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's not all James Harden. He averaged 31 points a game.
I think some of the blame, too, has to go on, like, there's plenty of blame to go around for the Rockets right now.
Right. And I don't want that to sound like I'm trying to avoid the argument that we're having about how James Harden didn't show up. Because I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think, like you said, labeling him a choke artist, I don't think is quite fair because of the stats that he puts up. You know, when we call like LeBron a choke artist, that's because, like, we see him in the final possession for a game-winning shot defer the ball.
That's what James Harden did, my man.
Not the final shot of the game.
Well, not the final shot of the
Sure,
game.
you're going
Right.
down a stretch of 4 minutes and deferring the ball sometimes. Sure, that would be more on himself rather than calling him a choke artist.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean?
I see what you're saying.
I could totally get what you're saying and agree with what you're saying, but I can't call him a choke artist for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what the best
I can't really call LeBron a choke artist anymore either necessarily because obviously of what he's done in the finals.
Right, exactly.
But obviously, before he, that finals with the Heat,
right,
the Mavericks,
right, exactly.
I mean, bro, where were you at?
Right,
you're the greatest player in the world, really?
Right, and we're supposed to believe that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No,
but so I mean, I get what you're saying. I guess you can't necessarily. He just does not have that killer.
He doesn't have that it factor.
No.
Or like you said, the kill it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And good thing he's young because we'll see if he gets it. But
man,
I don't know. I don't know if he's afraid of the criticism he'll get if he. I mean, look at the criticism he gets for how many shots he takes already. Say he took 10 more shots and only made 2 of them. Just adding more criticism to the fire.
But
maybe he doesn't want that.
The thing
which
is,
isn't acceptable.
If you win, none of it matters.
Right. Totally agree.
And the thing about the Rockets this year, all these excuses they made. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. No.
Like, so you're gonna make all these excuses.
Right. You're gonna get the whole Twitter world fired up about all this and that.
You're gonna come out with a damn audit on referees. Play the game. And then you got Mike D'Antoni. He's soft to me, man.
He's always been soft.
His system is great for the regular season.
Depends, yeah.
But it doesn't work in the playoffs. The ball gets stuck.
Right.
It doesn't move.
Right.
Guys, you're playing a team, 5, 6, 7 games. They're going to find what you do well and try to shut that down.
Well, I don't remember who it was. It was either Jalen or Greeny on Get Up in the Morning. They were talking like, think about how ISO the Rockets offense is.
Yeah.
Like, they're all ISO. So think about that as a defense. The defensive game plan can have 10 eyes on one player the whole time because nobody moves on offense.
It's James Harden dribbling the ball at the top of the key.
It's simple defense.
Yeah.
Clog the paint on a drive, rotate to the shooter, and keep rotating until, you know what I mean? Like,
Easy.
It's the simplest defense that a team can play. And the Rockets, sure, you have the best ISO player in the game, but when you have a defense like the Warriors who rotate better than anybody, can close out better than anybody, sure, can Harden take advantage of Curry one-on-one? Sure. But if he's not going to do his crossover step back and get a jump shot, he's going to go to the lane, get clogged up, and have to kick it out, and the Warriors are going to rotate. And if they don't knock down their shots, then they're just pulling themselves out of the game.
Yeah.
So I think that, sure, like you said, that works in the offseason. That works in the regular season. That works against teams that are not the Warriors. But that's not going to get you, to the championship, let alone win a championship.
Exactly. It never will.
No.
It
hasn't even.
Never will.
Yeah. It's not like it's the Warriors where it's constant ball movement, players moving without the ball to get those open shots. That's going to, obviously proven to get you there. But, that's a totally different system than what Mike D'Antoni has them run. And maybe that's part of why Chris Paul isn't, commanding the floor like he used to. But still,
Well,
I'm going to put more of the blame on Chris Paul and Mike D'Antoni than I am Harden.
Okay. Well, I guess we can agree to disagree
somewhat
on
disagree,
that.
right.
Yeah, somewhat disagree on that. You know, if you're the best player on the team,
you got to show me.
You got to show up when your team needs you.
Right.
You can't, just kind of defer and, make bad plays, turn the ball over in crunch time. You just can't do it. Make a shot.
Right.
You made these threes. You've done this the whole season. Show me what you got.
Right. And that also has a lot to do with the Warriors' defense in the first place.
It does. It does.
It's not like he's going out there against some slouch defense and not taking shots. Like, Warriors' defense is no joke, too.
I mean, it's great. But yeah, I mean, like I guess I won't call James Harden a choke artist yet, but man, he is. There's a lot of data out there that's proving to me that he is not clutch.
Right.
And he just doesn't have that alpha mentality
that he may seem like he has.
Right.
Right.
And maybe that's why he's got that big old beard. I mean, yeah, I'm the alpha. Look at my beard.
Right. And right. Know, like, man. I don't know, like, I like James Harden.
Yeah.
I think his game is kind of soft to an extent.
I do too. I hate the let me try and draw a foul and a step back three.
Right. Sure, it's helping you. It's helping your team. Like I said, you're still the best ISO player in the NBA potentially ever. Like if
he'd have played in a different era though, way different. He would not have the same.
Right, it's the same thing we say about everybody. I mean,
that's not MJ or LeBron or
right. I mean,
Magic
even LeBron, he used to do the same things. He flopped all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, I got you. I mean, so do you think the Rockets will ever win a championship? If the Warriors break up?
Oh, for sure they could.
They could.
If the Warriors were without, say they lose 2, there are speculations that Clay and KD might leave.
Yeah.
That definitely opens the West, just like
that,
as big as it did when LeBron left the East.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a game changer. Now, if KD leaves and everyone else stays, I think they have better shot, but I would still probably take the Warriors.
Well, and the Warriors proved to you, what they can do still without KD in that game 6 and then in game 5.
Right.
Look, I want to talk about Steph Curry for a little bit because, look, people for some reason hate on Steph Curry, and I'm just like, guys, why? For what? Like, he is a 2-time MVP, a 3-time champion. He is a transcendent player in this league, in the NBA. Nobody's seen a shooter like him before, ever. I don't know if they don't like his finesse game.
I might be part of that bandwagon.
I just don't. But I don't understand the hate.
I don't know if it's a bias thing. I don't know why I feel this way, but
is it because he plays for the Warriors?
No, I don't think it's that. It's more like, look, like you just said, all those stats, MVPs. He's got the championships. He's got the MVPs. I agree. He's already is the best shooter ever. But his team has never been bad. I wish this could happen and see how he plays, but I wish you say Kevin Durant goes to the Knicks and Kyrie doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
What if KD's team turns out like the Lakers, like LeBron's? Nobody even talks about LeBron anymore because his team was terrible.
Okay.
What if KD goes to New York and has a terrible season? He puts up MVP numbers and they miss the playoffs again. What if KD and Clay leave and the Warriors are a 7 seed and they bounce the first, second round? Are people still going to talk about Steph Curry as this amazing player as they do now? They've been good for so long, but their team has been so loaded, which isn't his fault. I'm not, I guess I am holding that against him, but, that's not his fault.
Okay.
But the way that Russell Westbrook plays out of control and everybody holds that against him for going 110 miles an hour,
mm-hmm.
think about if teams could lock in on Steph Curry on defense like they lock in on James Harden. Let's trap every time because we know he has Chris Paul as his second option, who's not a great three-point shooter, whereas we know he has Clay and Kevin Durant as his backup options.
Man, I'm listening to your argument, but like watching this game, Steph Curry just nailed 2 threes, like deep in.
Right, and like right now, look at what they're like.
Yeah.
Look how they trapped Dame up top, right when he crossed half court to get the ball out of his hands.
Okay.
And he had to give it to C.J. McCollum or
Harkless.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, do you kind of get what I'm saying though?
I see what you're saying. I can see.
That's hard to hold against him because it's obviously not his fault. Like
he's playing. Look, the Warriors drafted really well.
Oh,
they made
amazing.
some great, free agent signings.
Dynasty, of course.
And that's none of that is Steph Curry's fault.
Absolutely.
And they were a pretty young and upcoming team when they won their first championship. Like that team was built like organically. Not
Definitely.
With a bunch of
it wasn't super team through the trades and this and that. No,
they developed themselves into a super team. I think because before KD, because they just play really really well together.
They have a lot of guys that meshed well together.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
And and hats off to their scout.
Exactly
to the front office.
Right.
You can't hold that. I just think that's unfair to hold that against Steph Curry.
Right.
This dude is an all-time great player.
Right.
There's no question about it. LeBron fans will be like, "Oh, well, why do you guys, hate on LeBron so much?" It's like, what has Steph done for one? He hasn't done anything like I don't want to say LeBron's done anything egregious.
Right.
But it's like, okay, he left his team.
Right.
To join a team. And that's when I think a lot of the hate came for LeBron.
When
he left to go to Miami.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody really talked bad about him before then.
Right. No.
When he joined the super team. Steph has stayed.
Right.
Where he's at. Like, his front office has made the team better, obviously, by adding KD to a 73-win team. But that's not on Steph.
Right. Exactly.
And KD goes down. What does Steph do? He shows you who Steph Curry is.
Right. Snaps off.
33 in the second half.
Right.
In a for them, a closeout game.
Right. Game 6.
I mean, dude, after scoring 0 points in the, how can you hold any animosity towards Steph Curry?
Right. No. Like I said, maybe it's me being biased, and I don't know. I think he talks a lot more than it looks like he does. Like he's cockier than he looks. And he has a lot of things to back it up. We've mentioned him before.
Man.
Organization's great, but would he be the same player on a different team? Is he that type of player?
What do you mean that type of player? Like a Kawhi?
Yeah. Is he that level 5 player on a different team?
I mean, he's an MVP.
I mean, look, but
he's a 2-time MVP.
Right, but look at what I'm saying is, look at who's on Kawhi's team. Look at who's on the Bucks. Look at who's on Portland.
Bucks have an all-star?
You got 2 players that are considered, but most likely potentially all-stars if they aren't already.
Okay.
Kyle Lowry, definitely not an all-star in my opinion.
Well,
but he's no slouch.
Right.
If it was just Steph and Draymond, Steph and Clay, would they be doing this the same? Would he be doing the same thing, team-wise and individually, as these other players are?
Who's to say that those other players would be who they are without Steph Curry?
Well, Clay's just a shooter and a defender, so I think that's he would stay the same. Kevin Durant is what he is.
I mean, yeah, I'm throwing Kevin Durant out of this,
right?
Right, because Steph was great before him.
Right, totally.
So,
great. And I think
you know what I mean. Though?
I get what you're saying. That Steph makes those players better.
Yeah. Does he not? He helps space the floor, obviously.
Right.
Draymond is able to operate to his strengths. I don't think Draymond Green would be that great on any other team.
No, hell no.
So, who's to say that Draymond would be as good as he is, that Clay would be as good as he is?
Yeah, no, but that's not
without Steph.
True, yeah, but we're not talking about those other players. We're talking about would Steph be as good as he is without 3 all-stars around him? Because nobody else got 3 All-Stars on their team. You're looking at 1 max.
I mean, Draymond was not an All-Star this year.
I think he was last year.
Okay. Yeah.
He was on the bubble. And All-Stars kind of skewed anyway.
And the thing about Draymond, like, look, if you just take the name away, take the team affiliation away, and you just look at those numbers,
right?
Like, that's not an All-Star. That's a good player.
Right.
He's not an All-Star, though.
Right. Back, I mean, what was it, a couple seasons ago, he was, like, floating triple-doubles at, like, game, like, almost, I mean, you know.
Again, look who he can dish it to Steph or Clay, and they got splat.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
my point is, like, I think Steph would be. I don't know if he would be quite as. Like, it's hard to say.
You know what I'm saying?
It's really hard to say, honestly.
Like, take this for example.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a good position to switch. Take Lillard out and put Steph Curry in. Curry and McCollum.
It's a good backcourt.
Is he, you know, shrugging, dancing after made threes while he's getting burned on defense because he has no backup help with Draymond? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to be that same player, put up those same numbers, and lead that same team in the Blazers to 2 championships?
I mean, look, I think he could get him as at least as far as Dame has.
But not not on the verge of a three-peat.
Okay, but people are talking about Dame like he's a top 3-point guard, right?
Because he is.
Okay.
Nobody's saying he wouldn't be a top 3 point guard. I'm talking about, would he be that same cocky person chucking up in crazy shots? Nobody's saying anything because they're winning, and he's making them.
The thing is, though, about Steph Curry, he's always done that. Ever since he walked into the league.
He's almost been winning since he came into the league.
Really? I mean, Mark Jackson kind of built that team from the ground up.
Right.
Like, they were not a great team when he came into the league.
Well, no, because they got him, I think, like top 10
pick.
7
yeah.
maybe.
So, like I said, they had to build that. You know, it's not like...
I'm not discrediting any of that. I don't think you understand what I'm asking you.
Okay.
Individually, can he be that leader and take a team deep into the playoffs with minimal talent?
I mean,
minimal as in just these 4 teams. We'll look at just these 4 teams in the conference finals, which is 4 teams.
Okay.
Could he take any other team besides the Warriors to win a championship? I'd let you pick a roster, and I don't think he'd be able to take one.
I don't know.
Because you'd have to take the best player on the other team and sub him out. And you're going to tell me he's going to take that team and win the championship?
I don't know that you could. I don't think you can. I don't think he could.
I don't think he could either.
But you gotta look at the other. Okay, look. No disrespect to Portland, they're not going to win this series.
No, I don't think anybody's going to win besides the Warriors.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, even if you're to put Steph on that team, they don't win. You can put anybody on that team, they won't win. And you take Dame out?
I wouldn't. No, because I like Milwaukee's team better.
Okay.
I guess.
So
I like Milwaukee's team better than Portland's.
Right.
I think Milwaukee could give Warriors the best run for their money.
Because they can shoot.
They can spread the floor. Mm-hmm. They play defense.
Yeah.
And Giannis is just Giannis.
Right. So I don't think. I mean, that's hard to say. Oh, sub Steph Curry for Giannis, like, right. You're taking away
2 different positions. That's why that's why I picked Dame, because they play the same position.
Right. So Dame, like, even with Dame, like, I think they'd get to this point.
Right.
You know, put Dame on Golden State. All right, maybe Golden State.
I could see the Nuggets beating Steph Curry and CJ McCollum.
Maybe.
You know, but you get what my argument is.
But that went 7 games, so
right.
that's kind of like
up in there anyway. But
yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though. Like,
I gotcha. Yeah, no, it's hard to say.
We've never seen the Warriors face adversity, essentially. When they lost to Cavs, they don't even talk about that anymore.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean?
They don't.
And that was the only drought that they've had, where they blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
And it never gets held against Steph.
They also came back from a 3-1 lead against OKC.
Right.
So, I mean, that team was good. That OKC team with KD, Harden, and Westbrook.
Right.
If that team would have stayed together, who knows?
Right.
Because they were really young.
Right.
But, you know, anyways, they came back from 3-1.
Right.
While granted they did blow a 3-1 lead, they have also come back from a 3-1 lead. So I don't know. It's really hard to say. Like,
right,
Steph,
that's a lot of speculation into this.
To me, like, Steph is not Kawhi necessarily. He's not. You don't when people talk about the best player in the NBA, they don't always put Steph.
Not anymore, at least.
No,
they did after the first.
Because he's got KD on his team.
Right. Absolutely.
If next year KD leaves and the Warriors are still doing what they're doing,
right,
then he might be in that conversation again. But since KD has joined, they're kind of like, oh well, Steph is kind of, but Steph is such a I think his basketball IQ is great. Like, he knows when it's his time to go and when it's his time to back off.
Right.
So he's that kind of like great player that knows how to do that. And there's not very many of those guys.
Team-wise, he puts the ego aside for those things.
He does.
He does. And like I said, he's a Hall of Famer already. He's the best shooter ever. I wish we could see teams able to focus in on, okay, game plan against Steph and not have to worry about three other you know what I mean? The Warriors ball movement's so good that it's like, okay, we have to focus on everybody else. But like when you have the 1 and 2 and almost maybe 3 best shooters in the entire NBA on the floor at the same time, with 2 of them being in the top 6 in the NBA, like it's obviously hard for teams to be like, okay, what's our game plan here? Well, but like we've just seen it in this game, like they're trapping Lillard right when he crosses half court to get the ball out of his hands. Yeah, a lot of teams can't do that with the Warriors because they'll get burned right away.
Okay, just because they have great ball movement. You look at the individual players on the Warriors right now without KD. Okay. Like I said about Draymond, put him on another team. He's not the same player.
No, I agree.
Clay, put him on another team. He ain't the same player. I don't care what anybody says. He might be close.
Right.
He's a really, obviously he's a perennial all-star. He's second best shooter.
Because he gets a lot of his shots not off the dribble, spot up. So he's just a pure shooter.
Right. He doesn't create a ton now. He can go off for 60.
Right, he can move without the ball. Yeah. He's knocking down shots.
But I just don't, like, you look at their players individually, take them off the Warriors and just look at these players individually.
Right.
They're not like superstar. None of them are superstar players.
Besides Kevin Durant.
Well, I'm not, again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm keeping Clay out of this. Yeah.
Right.
So right now, the Trailblazers, really the 2 shooters on the court are Steph and Clay.
Right.
So you can't stop. One of them.
Oh, you can. But we're not just talking about just 2 shooters. We're talking about the 2 best shooters. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's different. And as good as Lillard is, him and Steph are 2 different players. I still do. I like Steph Curry better than Lillard. I think Lillard's right behind him, but they're 2 different players.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So it's more than just saying, okay, let's just stop these 2 players.
I got you.
And it is different when Kevin Durant's on the floor. It's a totally different game plan for the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The ball movement that they've got to.
Yeah, they're accounting for, it's going to be a lot more people moving without the ball, less ISO with Kevin Durant. But, like, taking Kevin Durant out of your defensive scheme changes everything.
It really, it really does.
So
you've got to prepare yourself for a lot more ball movement.
Exactly. So, I totally agree. I still think that, like I said, Steph may not be I don't know how to say that still, but you know what I'm saying. I would like to see him on a team like one of these other teams and see how he leads the team, I guess I could say.
Okay.
And sure, that may sound biased and may not sound fair, but that's just how I feel.
That's fair enough, man. All I got to say is people need to stop hating on Steph Curry.
Right.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no need to do it anymore.
I'll be a hater if that's what you're going to call it. I think he's
you can be critical
player.
of him. But
we just have yet to see him in a different situation, I guess, which isn't even his fault, so it's hard to hold it against him.
Yeah, definitely. So
it's okay. His time will come.
It will. It will. But not right now because they're going to win the chip. So
right, yeah, I don't see them losing.
All right, so let's kind of shift gears a little
also
bit.
Tonight
Yeah.
was the draft lottery?
Yeah.
2019?
Yeah.
Is it considered
19. As Bulls fans, we were
Makes
disappointed.
Me sick.
Very disappointed. I pictured Ja Morant in a Bulls uniform, like already.
Shit, I was hoping for Zion. I didn't care.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was too, but just looking at fit for the Bulls,
right?
Like point guard. That was a need for them.
Huge.
I like Chris Dunn, but he's just not, for lack of a better term, getting the job done. He's not.
Right, and let's start with this first because we had the top 5 percentages of landing the number 1 pick. So New York, Cleveland, Phoenix all had the best odds at 14% to land the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Then 4th was Chicago at 12.5.
Yep.
And 5 was Atlanta at 10.5. This is the new thing that they're doing to try and stop or limit teams tanking in the NBA.
Yeah.
Which I think is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. I don't remember if we're on the same page that this new system is stupid.
I don't like the new system as much as
because this is the first year they've done this.
Yeah. I don't like it.
So what, you're going to stop 3 teams in the NBA from maybe tanking for 35 games?
Max.
That's a lot. Basically just to prove a point that they shouldn't tank.
Look, those teams are at that point in the season, I think we're in agreement on this. At that point in the season, they're bad. You can tell they're bad.
Oh my God! You can tell they're exactly. That they're not gonna be good or even have a shot at anything.
Right. So by that point, over half the season's over. I really have no problem with. You can call it tanking at the last month and a half of the season because it's like like I said, these teams have already established themselves as a really bad team, so they're going to rest the veteran guys some more and give some young guys a chance, or see what they got in the G League.
Exactly. Like,
what's wrong with that?
I am totally on board with. Okay, look, we got a month left. We're totally out of it. There's not even a shot. Like, statistically, it doesn't matter what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying you need to sit, for example, use the Bulls because we're Bulls fans. Doesn't mean we have to sit Levine for the rest of the season. Maybe don't play him. Maybe play him 20 minutes a game.
Right.
Sit him a couple games. I'm not with the whole, sit him for, it's All-Star break. Let's
not the
sit
Anthony
LeBron
Davis
for the whole
type
season
thing.
because we have to worry about next. That's a little different. Anthony Davis. That's a perfect example.
Right.
Well, he's
different
probably
situation a little bit.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
Than this. There's no reason the worst team shouldn't, just like the NFL, like we said.
Yeah.
The worst team in the NBA should get the first pick no matter what. I don't care if the Knicks are supposed to sign freaking Steph or Kevin Durant and Kyrie. They are the worst team. They should get the first overall pick.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whether they tank 10 games or 30 games. You're talking about minimal teams tanking in the NBA, if they even are. I mean, sure, the organizations are maybe, hey, let's not play, so-and-so many. Let's get some guys from the G League up. But these guys aren't going out there saying, hey, let's really screw this one up and lose by 20. You know what I mean?
These are professional athletes. They got some pride. They're going to go out there and play hard and try to win.
Sure, it's not easy going out there and losing all the time, but it's because their team's bad. It's not because they're out there trying to lose.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I totally agree.
It's not fair. Not even talking about the Bulls. I'm talking about the 3 worst teams with the worst records. That was New York, Cleveland, and Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason that one of them, they should have had the same odds for the number 1 pick. 30-30, 33-33, 33, and let it all trickle down after that.
Yeah.
And if there's a tie record, give it to whoever had head-to-head matchups. And if those were tied, freaking flip a coin or something.
Yeah. I think I even mentioned the point earlier of holding, like, okay, if you want to kind of prevent tanking from being the absolute worst team in the league, okay, have a 4 or 5 team pool of 4 or 5 of the worst teams with the worst records. Have them compete for the
top 5.
The top, the top 5 picks.
Right.
Exactly. The 5th worst team could still get the first pick, but
it stops there.
Right.
You're not taking a team with the 9th best odds somehow jumping into the top 3 and maybe getting the first pick.
Right.
It's just like, it blows my mind because teams like Cleveland, who are absolutely terrible, like, they'll be in this top 3 next year, no doubt about it, no matter who they get.
Right. Yep.
Phoenix has a couple good players. You could see some odds. New York, they made some trades, but I could see them being in the top 5 after we tell you the results of the draft.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, they didn't get one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't
want to say that it's rigged, but I thought it was for a second when I was watching it.
To be fair, as Bulls fans, we got to remember when we drafted Derrick Rose and we had like slim to none chance at getting the first pick.
Right.
We were a borderline team, of making the playoffs that year, I believe, and we ended up getting the first pick and we drafted D Rose, MVP. Dude could have been one of the greatest players, greatest point guards of all time.
Right. Totally.
So
totally agree.
But that was in the old system. This is the new system, and I really just don't.
Just from this year, just from this last hour and a half from watching this, like all of these people, on TV are saying how great this was for the NBA and the draft and how exciting it was, and try telling that to the 3 worst teams in the NBA who get stuck with, sure, you normally would think, okay, we're in the, let's just go over what the pick is so this makes more sense.
Sure.
So, the number 1 pick went to New Orleans Pelicans, who had a 6% chance of getting it. Right? Everybody's like, whoa, that's insane. Like 6%. That's not a lot. Yeah. And that's not. That's crazy because Anthony Davis wants to be traded. And the report came out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The report came out literally 20 minutes ago after the draft. KD doesn't give a shit. He wants to be traded anyway.
Yeah.
So getting the first overall pick is going to jumpstart your rebuild, but it's not keeping excuse me. Did I keep saying KD? Anthony Davis there, excuse me.
So basically, now you just rewarded, essentially, a team that sat their best player.
Right. You're doing the opposite of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so now they just somehow got rewarded for getting the first pick.
Right.
Tell me, how is that good for the NBA?
Right. It's mind-blowing. The number 2 pick went to the Grizzlies.
They were a borderline playoff team for a hot minute.
To start out the season, I think, yeah. They also had a 6% chance to get the first pick. And then, so out of those 3 worst teams, we'll even count the Bulls because they were the 4th. Out of those 4 teams that were at the top of the list for being the worst, like the 4 worst teams in the NBA, none of them got the top 2 picks.
Yep.
Then the Knicks, who were tied for first for the worst, highest percentage to get the first pick. They landed the 3rd pick, which is, you're still getting top-tier player. After that, the Los Angeles Lakers.
They got the 4th
They got the 4th pick with a 2% chance to be that high.
Come on, man.
They were 11th. 11th worst. They jumped all the way to pick 4.
Jeez.
That's one team out of the top 4 worst teams in the NBA that actually got a top 4 pick.
Yeah.
And it was the 3rd pick, and that was the Knicks.
Yep.
So the 3 of the 4 worst teams in the NBA are outside of the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Like, not saying that the worst team should be rewarded, but, like, how are they ever going to get better if, like, we're speculating on maybe tanking.
Yeah.
Like, unless there's some secret emails going around saying, hey, we're tanking, like, we're speculating saying, hey, we think these teams are tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, What if these teams actually aren't and they're just that bad?
Right.
And they can't get any better because they're getting pushed out of a spot they deserve for being the worst team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sorry, but the Cavs,
they're so bad.
Can you name anybody on their roster?
Barely. I mean, I could.
I can name their last pick. The pick they got last year was named Colin Sexton from Alabama. Okay, decent player, but again,
he's not gonna turn out like they wish.
No, I mean, so now they're gonna get another player.
And they freaking maxed out Kevin Love. That was stupid.
yeah, not very
ridiculous.
Smart, dude. Texting LeBron at however late it was in the morning, saying I'm drunk and stuff. Yeah, he's really there to play hard for you.
Stupid.
Yeah, come on,
dude.
During the season, mind you.
Right.
And that was the reason why he sat out a game during the season. I mean, come on.
Right, just ridiculous.
It's a mess. So you got teams like that, like you said, that like, man, they need a jump start to their franchise.
Right, like,
and
that's what this is for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And in this draft, there really ain't. I'm sorry, but there's not an impact player outside of the top 3. I don't think.
Right. No, definitely not.
So, good luck to those bottom feeders that were outside of that.
Like the teams that actually were bad.
Right.
Anyway, then the Cavs fell all the way to the 5th spot. Then it was the Suns at 6, Bulls at 7, Hawks at 8, Wizards 9, and then Hawks again for Dallas for the trade for Dennis Smith and DeAndre Jordan. So they have 8 and 10, so that's kind of nice for them.
That's
but
nice,
like, I don't know. I just feel like not even talking about the Bulls. Like, put them aside.
Yeah.
Like, the Pelicans were bad. Don't get me wrong. They were bad. But there's more to it. They have Anthony Davis, MVP caliber player, Drew Holiday. Anthony Davis sat out a lot this season.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's a perfect point that you made earlier. They're rewarding a team for tanking. They somehow ended up with the first pick.
Yeah.
They did more tanking than the teams at the top of the list.
Right. Dude, exactly. And that right there, that can't happen. So now you just rewarded a team that was, they were trying to trade their best player, which, okay, fine, he didn't want to play for them. But they sat him. And now they've got the number 1 pick. So basically they're going to pick Zion. And now, like, if they wanted to put together some crazy trade package,
right,
they could, because you let them get the number 1 pick, and now they don't have to be hurt by trading away their best player.
No, because
they don't have to be hurt as much.
Right, because they're going to take that same offer that they offered the Pelicans in the middle of the season before the All-Star break.
You mean the Lakers?
Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
And they're going to see like, oh, the Lakers got the 4th pick now, not the 11th that they were projected to get.
Right.
4th is a lot better than 11th, so we'll give you Anthony Davis, and that's it for the 4th pick. Lonzo Ball, Kuzma, Ingram, all these players. They're going to be loaded.
Yeah. All for tanking.
Right. All for doing what you guys are trying to stop.
Right.
What if Zion pulls? Zion doesn't want to go to the Pelicans or the Grizzlies.
Man.
What if Zion pulls the Eli Manning and is like, I'm not going there.
Right.
I don't want to play there. And I don't want to play in Memphis either. These low markets that nobody ever succeeds in, and they've never been good. Mm-hmm. And why would I want to go there?
Yeah.
Not saying he's that type of person.
With the management that the Pelicans have right now.
Right.
Really?
Well, David Griffin.
Well, yeah,
Before that, though. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So it's yet to be seen what's going to be done with this team. And granted, they were in the lottery for a reason, but that reason was tanking. And now you just rewarded them.
Right.
With the number 1 overall pick. Probably one of the best talents that have come out
We haven't seen this since probably LeBron.
Yeah. This the amount of hype especially.
Oh, absolutely. And he was supposed to, hit this big market, land for the Knicks.
Yeah. That's what everybody was hoping for.
Oh, it would have been a game changer for the NBA. It would have been a game changer for... Bro, you don't see the Grizzlies on TV.
Man, no.
Hell no. You don't even see the Pelicans on TV. At least you see the Knicks because they're New York.
Right.
But, like, what if he's like, no, I don't want to play for them. Like, I'm not going there.
Right.
you're not ruining my career by sending me
I
there.
mean, I don't think the kind of player and person that Zion seems to be, I don't think he'll do that.
Totally.
But at the same time, it's like, do you really want a player of Zion's as the NBA as a business?
Right.
Do you really want a player of Zion's like potential stature playing in New Orleans?
Right. Shoot, I mean, they interviewed him after the draft. You could see it on his face. He was mad as hell that it was the Pelicans and Grizzly at 1 and 2. Like, he was pissed.
Yeah.
And like they were asking him, like, what did you think when you saw that the Pelicans were the number 1 pick? And he was like, I don't know. I'm still nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm this and that. Blah blah blah. I'm just like, you could tell.
Yeah. He was
He's
trying to be nice about it.
Right. He's definitely not excited.
Yeah.
Sure. I agree. He is the type of genuine player that's going to go in there and work regardless of where he goes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you could kiss, bro. Ain't nobody going to fucking Pelicans unless the Lakers make that trade and they get a swarm full of those people. Pelicans won't make the playoffs for another 10 years. Grizzlies won't make the playoffs for another 10 years, no matter if they get Zion.
Mm-hmm. And then guess what?
Those are no markets for any free agents.
And then guess what? You're gonna be back. You might be in the same situation. I don't want to play for you guys. Sit me or trade me.
Right. Yep. I saw my rookie deal is done.
Yep.
You might as well kiss my ass goodbye.
Yeah.
You better trade me and get something, because I ain't staying. Bro, name the last free agent to go to Memphis or freaking the Pelicans. Drew Holiday, and before that, nobody.
Yeah.
I think Marc Gasol and Mike Conley were both drafted by the Grizzlies. So, no free agents coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God. It's going to be bad for the NBA.
Yeah, it is. And with
no
the
matter
first pick,
what way you swing it, the only way this could turn out good is one, well, I guess Anthony Davis already said he doesn't want to stay, and I don't think that Anthony Davis and Zion would be this power backcourt either.
Yeah.
They'd be good, but sure, it'd be sweet to see him, Drew Holiday, and Anthony Davis all play together, but that's not, some 7-6 seed anyway.
What if, I don't know, this is just a trade idea that popped up in my head. Let's see if it sounds decent. Okay, AD doesn't want to, he wants to play in LA, but there have been talks like, okay, maybe Philly, right?
Uh-huh.
Or was it Boston? I'm sorry, Boston.
Yes, Boston.
What if Boston's able to put together a package for AD and or Zion? You think they've got the players to do that?
If the Celtics could trade for AD,
sign and trade Kyrie.
That would have to be the biggest part.
Yeah, sign and trade for Kyrie.
All day, I take that over the Lakers because
Boston was trying to get in on that from the beginning.
No, they were. That would be. So say you ship Kyrie, probably
Tatum or Brown,
and Hayward.
Yeah,
just say those three.
That
would be legit.
Yeah, that'd be and then some picks.
Yeah, that would totally be legit. Because Drew Holiday comes off and plays the 2 sometimes anyway, so you're looking at Kyrie, Holiday, Tatum or Brown, Zion, and then whoever the hell backs up Anthony Davis. I don't know. Is it Okafor? He's there, but I don't think he's a starter.
No.
I don't know. But, I mean, that would be a nice jump start.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like I said, I guess this could work out for the Pelicans potentially. So say they did the trade with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the 4th pick along with Ingram, Kuzma, Ball. I mean, that's not a bad lineup.
Yeah.
So they'll probably get rid of Holiday since they'll have Ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad young core, but those people still have to come together too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man. There's a lot that's going to go on in this off season, and I kind of can't. This is one of the more exciting off seasons in NBA in the NBA that we've seen in a while.
Hopefully we're gonna see some big names move, like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking. Can Simmons and Embiid coincide together? What if one of them leave? That would be insane.
They might have to trade one of them.
Right. KD leaves maybe. Anthony Davis might get traded.
Yeah.
Kyrie. I mean, there's some big ass names.
Yeah, there are.
So
it's going to be a lot of power shifting, I think, in the NBA this offseason.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
We sure shall. But yeah, regardless, I think that the new draft is stupid, and I feel bad that he's going to have to go to the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
Yeah, I kind of do feel bad for him. I wanted to see him. Obviously, I wanted to see him in Chicago.
Yeah.
That'd be insane.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For us. But, in a bigger market, at least to where we get to watch him play.
I mean,
more often.
Imagine being him, though, like Atlanta, not the biggest, not terrible. Phoenix, they have a good young core where it's like, okay, imagine Zion.
And Phoenix historically has had, pretty good teams.
Imagine Zion in between Ayton and Devin Booker, though.
Oh, my
like
goodness.
All under 22 years old.
That
could be serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, imagine being like, okay, it's going to be one of these teams. That's what everybody's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Boom. End up at Pelicans and the Grizzlies is 1-2, dude. That's a major letdown.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that had to be such a terrible feeling.
Man, I'm sure his heart probably sank after that. Honestly,
bro.
If I was him, that would suck.
Imagine having to move to Memphis or New Orleans. New Orleans would be kind of cool, but like, you could have went to New York, Atlanta, Phoenix, West Coast.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Fuck, that sucks for him.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But seriously.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well,
like you said, it's going to be a crazy off season. There's going to be a ton of stuff going on. And yeah, we'll be definitely covering all of it.
For sure. Can't wait. So that wraps it up for the NBA. But we all know what's happening on Thursday through Sunday.
This weekend.
The PGA Championship. Tiger coming off, obviously probably the biggest win of his career.
One of the biggest wins in sports history.
And honestly, I mean, I'm getting chills just talking about it right now.
Right.
He is 10-1 odds. He's tied for the favorite among two others, I believe.
Yeah, those were Dustin Johnson and I think Brooks Koepka.
Yep.
Who were giving him a run for the money at the end of the Masters. They were a stroke behind, two strokes, going down the stretch. But,
yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to watch. Like, I cannot wait.
Oh, man. Yeah. So we've got that going on this weekend. But there's some other news other than, just Tiger, being in competitive in golf again, potentially winning. John Daly, the PGA is going to allow him to ride a golf cart.
For those who don't know much about golf, and I don't think we're experts to, by any means, but like, I can't remember the last time anybody's rode a cart.
It's not you can't,
ever.
You can't.
Like you don't. Like, you don't do that. You can't do that.
I'm pretty sure it's against the rules,
right?
Barring any exceptions, which is what John Daly has right now.
And that exception was
arthritis.
He has arthritis. And if anybody knows who John Daly is, he drinks a lot of beer, smokes a lot of cigarettes, out of shape.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a bullshit excuse for being lazy.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Right? I mean, that's what it's kind of, a lot of people look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like disappointing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, as little as this may seem to some people, but like, it's like a big deal. It's almost like a disrespect thing. Like,
it is. It disrespects the other players. It disrespects the players that are keeping themselves in shape. Man,
right,
dude, look at Brooks Koepka.
Bro,
that dude looks like he could dang near play middle linebacker or something.
Right.
Tiger, he's always been known for being in shape. These other guys on tour that are, in shape.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a disrespect to the game of golf, I think, and it's disrespecting these players.
To his peers.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And what was the quote because we both saw it earlier
about
from Tiger
Tiger?
Woods, yeah.
I don't have the exact quote right in front of me, but basically, what Tiger was asked at a press conference today, how do you feel about John Daly, being able to ride a cart? He's like, he didn't say anything rude. He was nice about it. Tiger always is.
Right.
He was like, put it to you like this. I walked the course on a broken leg.
Right.
Yeah, and he won the U.S. Open on a broken leg.
Right, exactly.
I mean, so
and that just goes to show
no
you,
excuse. No excuse.
You're already not carrying your own bag.
Right.
You have someone to carry your own bag. You literally are walking.
I'm
Don't get me wrong. It's it's a long walk.
Yeah, it's a few miles.
Right. But like
each round every day.
Right. He's not going to make the cut.
I sure hope he doesn't.
He's not going to make the cut, and he's not going to make a run for winning.
Yeah.
But still, like, you're walking for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Why or how he even got it medically cleared to get a cart is beyond me.
I don't know. I don't know the full details on it, but I really I think the PGA dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. But, hoping this doesn't set a precedent going forward.
Right. Well, like I said, this is the first time that I can even remember since I've been alive watching golf that this has ever even happened in a major championship. So,
right.
I don't think it's, anything, to worry about going forward because, like I said, it's just ridiculous, and it's the PGA did, like you said, drop the ball on this one, and they'll regret this. But like I said, he won't make it out of the second round. We won't be seeing him on Saturday or Sunday.
Good.
So I'd put my money on that for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I got obviously I want Tiger to win.
Mm-hmm.
But besides Tiger, if I had to pick, I like Brooks Koepka a lot. Who's also fallen off is Jordan Spieth. Like he is like
he was almost like a flash in the pan. It's
right,
like
literally.
Everybody thought he's the next Tiger.
He had like 2 great summers, but like since then, like
Rory hasn't really done a whole lot.
No, he's on a slouch.
Either. Yeah.
They're doing that, like TaylorMade was doing that giveaway for those drivers. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
If he wins, you get your money back on a brand new driver.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can I just buy it and like return it if he doesn't win?
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna like read the disclaimer in there to see.
Yeah. He's not gonna. I don't think he's not playing well enough right now, unless he just somehow catches fire. Right. I just don't see it.
Right. But we'll see.
But
I feel like you said, I feel like Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka will be up there again.
Yeah. They will be.
I like Xander Schauffele too.
Yeah.
I like him a lot, but we'll see. Gotta just make the cut one day at a time.
Yeah, golf is it's you gotta grind it out. It's a grinded out sport. Exactly. You can't win it in the first round, but you can definitely put yourself out of contention.
Right.
So. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously we're rooting for Tiger here at CC TitleTown.
That's right. Go Tiger.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was episode 10. Like we said, it's kind of like a little milestone for us in our CC TitleTown podcast. We just want to give a shout out to all you guys, all our fans. Our Facebook page kind of took off in the first week. We had like 175. Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
Thank you guys for liking our page and interacting with us on the poll.
Right.
And everything. We should probably touch on that real quick before we go.
Yeah, definitely.
About Kyrie.
Yeah, that was
bringing it back
right
to the
after
NBA.
the Celtics lost.
Yeah.
Where is he going to end up next?
Yeah. And the poll finished up literally 50-50.
Dead even.
Yeah. Lakers and New York.
That's crazy.
Knicks.
I think just because I've been getting reports and reading some stuff that said hell no, he's not going back to playing with LeBron.
Right. Yeah. I've been reading that stuff too.
No.
But man, like these players seem to just like change their mind.
Bro, and you never know what's gonna happen. Like
you don't know if LeBron's reached out to him yet. You don't know what's been said.
Exactly.
I heard those reports too.
Right.
Right after our poll closed, actually.
Exactly. Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, that's kind of okay.
Right.
But you really never know.
It's too early to tell. Like so much shit can happen.
Yeah. See, the thing where I think he's gonna go, because he's from the Jersey area.
Right.
I think he's gonna, go to the Knicks.
Right. I do too.
I
do too.
I think. Especially if he's boys with KD, so if he decides to go there, like that'll be, we've already kind of discussed it. That'll be a tough, they'll be probably one of the top teams in the East at that point. So we'll see. But appreciate you guys interacting with us on that poll.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Absolutely. And now that we got that up, we're gonna start, making that page a nice little chat room for all our fans. We'll get some conversations going on there, and
for sure,
controversy topics. We definitely want to hear what you guys think about our episodes, about the topics. If you guys want to hear anything in the next episode, put it in there.
Yeah.
Send us a message. Whatever you guys want to do, we'll respond. We're open the room up for anything. So
yeah, definitely.
Like I said, appreciate all you guys. We really appreciate it. It's awesome. Like I said, it's episode 10. I'm going to send it off to Cam to send you guys out.
All right. As we mentioned, you can follow us and like us on our Facebook page, CC TitleTown. And then for the podcast, if you want to subscribe, it's at CC TitleTown. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Check you guys next week.
Peace.